G'day folks, Pat Callanan here. Well, this is the brand new Ford Ranger plug-in hybrid EV. This is my first look at this particular vehicle and it is really quite interesting. It is 100% designed right here in Australia. And while it is a Ranger, it is vastly different to some of the other Rangers out there on the market, because it has a battery in the back and a petrol engine in the front. So we're dealing with the 2.3 litre turbocharged petrol engine in the front and an 11.8 kilowatt hour battery in the back. And with this vehicle, it's really all about trying to get a balance of efficiency. So you've got around about 49 kilometers that you can drive on the battery, and then that power plant under the bonnet can then charge that battery, but it's all very controllable. Now, it isn't a particularly large battery, and that isn't a bad thing, because balancing these vehicles is all about trying to maintain things like a 3.5 ton towing capacity and still having that efficiency. And there's quite a bit of power under the bonnet too. So when you combine the electric motor and the petrol engine, you're dealing with 207 kilowatts and 697 Newton meters. So it has quite a bit of grunt. Now, the battery for this vehicle is actually tucked right under here. So it sits between the chassis rails, but then rises up and basically runs the length of the tub. So it's a little bit different. So you're dealing with a slightly longer tub area in this vehicle, and that entire battery is actually hooked up to this setup here, and this is called Pro Power on board. So you've got a 15 amp plug and a 10 amp plug. So this is giving you 230 volts of power out of both of these guys. Now, in terms of capacity, if you are wanting to power something like your caravan, they say that it's 11.8 kilowatt hours. Now, as a four-wheel driver, I don't tend to deal with those sort of things. I deal with amp hours because my brain runs in 12 volt. This thing runs over 300 volts. So when you convert it to amp hours and 12 volts, you're dealing with almost 1000 amp hours of power. Now, my big F-150 has a couple of 200 amp hour batteries, and that is massive, and that powers coffee machines and all sorts of stuff. So this vehicle will be able to power so much. It'll run power tools, it'll run coffee machines, it'll run pie warmers, it will run so much. And there is no modifications that you need to do. So if you are someone that wants to power your caravan, your power tools, or if there's just a bit of a power outage and you just want to plug up, you can plug things up to your vehicle. Now, from a touring perspective, that's an interesting thing, because if you already have a bunch of 12 volt accessories, you might not need them. You know, you might actually want to switch over to 240 volts. You know, I run Engel fridges, for example. Now, I can run them off 240 or 12 volt. Currently, my whole setup is 12 volt. With this, I could actually just plug in and run it 240 volts. So it's an intriguing thing, and it will take people, I think, a little bit of time to get their head around just how to use this if they want to use it on the road and touring Australia. But I tell you what, to not have to do any modifications to your vehicle and it just comes out of the factory and you've just got gobfuls of power to camp off, it's pretty interesting. Now, you might be wondering, well, what happens with that power system? How do I actually control it? Well, that's pretty easy. It's got 4 different systems, 4 different settings, I should say, that allows you to either keep those batteries charged up or to run them down. So if you just want to run on pure electric, you can. If you want to keep that battery charged for later for the campsite, you can do that. If you want to run the engine as a generator to charge things up, if you've been camping for a few days and the power is coming down, you simply kick it onto that charge mode. So it's a very flexible system that is, I think, fairly user-friendly. And another way to keep those batteries charged up is the regenerative braking. So every time you hit the picks, you can actually feel that battery starting to regenerate. It does have a little bit of a different pedal feel to your regular Ranger. Now the Ranger plug-in hybrid EV has maintained the Ranger's 3.5 ton towing capacity, and it's also got a rear differential lock. So it is essentially a Ranger with a stonking big battery. Now this is where you charge the vehicle up. So it does have one of those regular chargers that you can use at just about any charging station, but the setup in this vehicle is really designed just to charge at home. You can simply plug it into your regular 10 amp wall socket in your garage and charge her up. It's not a particularly fast charging setup, so this will probably take, you know, around about 6 hours overnight to charge back up to full, but that is fine for most people, I think, because you do have that petrol engine under the bonnet to keep things going and to generate power if you want. So you're never really going to run out of gas. But look, no car is absolutely perfect and no car is designed for everyone. And this one does have a few challenges, particularly if you are a hardcore four-wheel driver like I am. So one of the things that you can't do on this vehicle, or it's certainly not recommended, is to fit a full new canopy. So to rip the tub off and to put something else on. And that's kind of understandable because you've got a big battery that's tucked between the wheel arches here and within the chassis, and you've got that Pro Power on board system. So to change that would be a challenge. Maybe possible, but you're going to be possibly falling foul of warranty. And the other problem is this setup here in the back also contains a vapor recovery system for the petrol engine. So that's another thing that you'd have to take into account if you did want to put a full service body onto the back of this vehicle. The other thing I noticed when I looked under the vehicle is because of that battery, there's a little bit less clearance under the vehicle to put a larger spare tire under, like you could possibly do in a regular Ranger. And I did also notice there's a pretty big charging cable that's tucked up next to the chassis underneath the vehicle that could possibly sustain some damage from some errant sticks and stuff that could pop up when you're in an off-road situation. So I would love to see a little bash plate to put underneath that just to protect that really important charging cable. But for so many people, I think particularly those weekenders that just want to burn up the beach or hook up the caravan and have ample power, or just take the kids to school and basically do it on electric power, this is a very, very interesting vehicle. I mean, it's running an average combined fuel efficiency of 2.9 litres per 100 kilometres, which is really quite amazing for a ute that weighs about 2.6, 2.7 tonne. So the warranty is also pretty good. You've got a 160,000 kilometre, 8-year warranty on the battery. And the servicing is not too bad either. I think it's around about $399 per service for around about the first 5 years. So pretty inexpensive in that respect as well. Now, in terms of the actual drive of this particular vehicle, it is really interesting, and it's a bit of a spin out, to be honest, because when you take off and that battery is charged up, you don't have the engine noise. So I'm driving now, we're driving purely via that electric battery there. So it is a bit of a spin out for me as a long-term Ranger driver. But other than that, the drivability of this vehicle is very, very similar. Except you will notice a few differences. For example, because you've got that additional weight in the back of the battery, it does ride a little bit differently over the lumps and bumps, but in some ways it is actually kind of more sure-footed. Often we're driving around these vehicles with nothing in the back and they can get a little bit skittish. This thing feels even more sure-footed than the regular Ranger. You also do notice that when you hit the brakes, they tend to bite just that little bit differently, and that is that regenerative braking kicking in. But all in all, this is a Ford Ranger and it does most of the same things that a Ford Ranger does. It's capable off-road, it steers really quite sharp on-road, and it's just a very comfortable ride. The cabin is exactly what you would expect, very, very similar to your regular Ford Ranger. They do have a few different specifications, like the Storm Track, which is, it's got a few bits and pieces in there and some trim that is a little bit different and a little bit more techie, I suppose, than your regular Ford Rangers. But all in all, It is a very comfortable vehicle and one that you could easily mow the miles down in. There you go, folks, the Ford Ranger plug-in hybrid EV. A really interesting vehicle, and one that will really suit a whole lot of Aussies, I reckon. Keep the shiny side up.